What is up? What is up? We are back, black, blessed and highly favored. Man, what's going on? Hey, Tamisha, what's happening, man? I gotta check. I know. You be sending me them books. Shit, them shit is expensive now. What's happening, my niggas? What's going on? I forgot to keep forgetting about Latavia. I gotta I know she hit me up on the Instagram shit, but I don't be on that shit like that. I just gotta check my email. But anyway, shout out to everybody that's out there. Shout out to all the motherfuckers that's handling business and doing what it is and doing what you gotta do. Man, there's a lot of shit that needs to be discussed. First thing I'm gonna say is it's hot than a motherfucker out here in Vegas. God damn. It's hot as fuck. It's hotter than Satan's toenail in this bitch. But anyway, man, what is going on? I know it's probably humid as fuck out there in New Orleans. But anyway, man, shout out to all my finesses and motherfuckers at the Court Plantation and doing what it do. Shout out to everybody that's handling business. I just got done drinking some sea moss. Now I'm drinking some lemon water. Y'all know me. I gotta constantly be doing something. So shout out to everybody that's handling business. Shout out to motherfuckers at the Court Plantation right now as we speak. Shout out to them because I know that they are handling business and working hard as fuck. The shit is not fun at all. So, like I said before, a motherfucker be like, man, why you working so late? Nigga, because I ain't got no choice. I can't just walk off the motherfucking job, nigga. Get tired of explaining that shit to niggas. God damn. Anyway, shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that is honorable in business. I suggest everybody that has not seen the Dame Dash interview from 2016 on the Breakfast Club, go check that interview out. It will definitely bake your noodle in a good way and make you handle business. So shout out to that. Hey, what's going on, cuz? I see you. It was her birthday yesterday. I know she god damn, I know. I gotta call my sister back. Man, we playing phone tag. It's so much shit going on, man. Then Latavia, I only check that phone every once in a while. She had in Hawaii, I know. She did give me an advance, but man, look, I'll tell you like this. I mean, niggas don't want to work. And I'm not talking about Tavia, I'm talking about niggas at my job. Niggas at the Court Plantation, they don't want to work. You know what happens when niggas don't want to work? Then the niggas that do need the money and need the bread, they gonna come. So I'm trying to come in and get that bread. So y'all know what the fuck it is. If y'all like, who the fuck is this nigga talking to? I'm talking to my cuzzo. I'm on the chat right now. It's hot to the motherfucker, yeah. Hey, man, but I know what it is. I gotta hit her up, man. I definitely gotta hit her up. I gotta call my sister back. I got so much shit going on, man. It's not enough time in the day. Shit. On my days, the days that I do have off, I try to sleep and don't even get up and go nowhere. And try to read and get this reading in. I'm almost done with this book. I'm gonna show y'all this book, the Dark Prince of Florence. Very, very good book about Alessandro de Medici. So I'm almost done with it. I've been really taking my time and not speeding through these books. That's another thing, man. Shout out to the people, all my readers out there. I don't care what you read, but shout out to my readers out there, man. And don't be speed reading. At first, I used to think I had to speed read and read 8-10 hours a day just to catch up, and I did do that, and I retained a lot of it, but there's a lot of books I gotta go back and read. Like there's this book called Two Nations. I read that. I gotta go back and read it. The Destruction of Black Civilization by William Chancellor, or Chancellor Williams, or what, I forgot his name. I gotta go back and reread that. There's a couple books I gotta go back and reread. That's pretty good for reading as many books as I have read, but shout out to all my avid readers. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. And oh, hey, don't give me the freestyling. You need a haircut. I know. You see my shit is growing. I just ain't went to the barbershop. Hey, my shit. I thought about getting cornrows again, but maybe I call my niece. I call Desiree. Look, I'm on here having a conversation like this ain't no podcast. Either Desiree or my little sister will do it. One of them will braid my shit up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we got a lot to discuss, a lot of shit to get into, so we about to get into it right now. Let me cut this motherfucking clown ass music off before I start freestyling. But shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation, Wendy, Tasha, Shawnee, all y'all. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to y'all. Let me cut this clown ass shit down. No, I just got to get my groove on. Oh yeah, that book, the Dark Prince of Florence. Oh, it's about long story short, I tell you, the book is a good book. Only reason why I came up on it because of the rise and fall of the Medici. First, I was reading the Merovingians. Then I was reading about the Borgias. I read a book about the Borgias. So then I came across the Medici, and they had this show on Netflix about the Medici. And I think they had it on HBO, one of them too. So I checked it out, and I was like, damn, this shit is gully. And it kind of touched on some stuff. So I said, I wanted to see if this shit is real. So I Googled it. I ain't gonna lie, I Googled it first to be like, make sure there ain't no fucking make-believe shit. And it was like, oh, it was a real Italian banking family. So then I was like, well, let me get the book and read it. So I read the book, and when I read the Borgia's book, when I read that book, they got money from the Medici Bank. Cosimo de' Medici, he was like the founder of the banking system. They were like the first fractional reserve bankers. They was loaning out money with interest type shit. And then from Cosimo, he had different kids, and then he had Lorenzo el Magnifico de' Medici. And he was basically just, they were just politics and politicians and crooked, corrupt ass motherfuckers, just like the Borgias. Same shit. They didn't really like the Borgias because Rodrigo Borgia, he was the Pope, but they weren't Italian. They were Spaniards. So they weren't well liked. But that's another book. So then I got the Medici books. I read that book and I was like, all right, cool. So then I started looking for other books, and then I came across the Dark Prince, Alessandro de' Medici. And I'm like, Alessandro de' Medici? So I'm like, all right, so I get the book. I can't wait to get it. And I'm like, I'm not going to fly through this. I'm going to take my time and read it. And man, it's a good book. And it's basically long story short, short story long. It's about Lorenzo el Magnifico de' Medici basically fucking a Moorish slave, a black sister, having a baby with her, and then Alessandro de' Medici. And they didn't really want to fuck with him until they needed an heir to a throne. And then that's when they started kind of reaching out to him, and then they tried to groom him and shit. But the Pope at the time, I forgot the Pope's name, he really did, as Alessandro got older, from what I read, he really did like him. But of course, oh man, they just do vile stuff. When I'm done with the book, I'll show it and put it up. I only like to show the books that I've actually read. So you already know how it is. So yeah, man, go check out that book. It's called The Dark Prince of Florence. The story of Alessandro de' Medici. They even had money in his name. So he was the Duke of Florence. He was dope. But go check it out. But hey, man, we about to get into it, man. Man. R.I.P. to our brother. I think his name is dijonkizzee or Kizay or whatever. They just shot him or whatever. LAPD, man. And I think I was on Twitter. It was funny. They was trying to go in. Tariq Nasheed was trending because he was talking about white Hispanics, and people were like, there ain't no such thing as no white Hispanics. Yes, it is. Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen are the same. They're brothers. Just one changed his name. Charlie Sheen is not white. He's Hispanic. Really, Hispanic is not a race. So first of all, let's just get that straight. Hispanic is not a race. That's some shit that the dominant society came up with. But since they want to come up with it, let's use it. And Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, they same people. They brothers. It's just one changed his name and one didn't. Charlie Sheen. Come on, man. But anyway, just to see that, if the killings are not going to stop. So if y'all motherfuckers think the killing going to stop, y'all niggas are sadly mistaken. But I'm about to play this audio. And I got to learn how to screen share. I'll be bullshitting. But the screen's so small anyway. Why would somebody want to look at that shit? But anyway, here, let's play this. I want to see what they say.
Demonstrators are marching from the scene of yesterday's shooting to the sheriff's station in South LA. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Harvey.
And thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Jeff Vaughn. Sky 2 live over that protest demanding justice for dijonkizzee. The 29-year-old was killed in a deputy-involved shooting after he was stopped on a bicycle for what's being called a code violation.
Well, CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen is live at the scene with what's happening right now. Jeff?
Pat and Jeff, a part of the call for change is a call for transparency. Throughout this neighborhood, we are on West 109th Place right now. You can see flyers like this one posted on this telephone pole. As we pan our camera to the left here, Joe Ruiz is going to show you the caravan of cars that has gathered out here right now. And as we go up the street, you can see that there are several dozen people here for that march that you mentioned. This is the site of yesterday's deadly shooting. The folks who are gathering here right now say that they are going to march over to the sheriff's station in South LA.
I'm glad they said deadly shooting, because that's what it was. Now, I want to know the officer, what was the name of the officer that killed him? We need to get into that.
Today, relatives gathered at the spot where 29-year-old dijonkizzee was shot to death by LA County Sheriff's deputies. Fletcher Fair is his aunt.
Right now, I'm sad and I'm mad at the same time at the LA Sheriff.
The Sheriff's Department says the shooting happened yesterday afternoon after two deputies spotted Kizzee committing a vehicle violation on a bicycle in South LA. This is cell phone video of him running away from them as they tried to make contact with him. The department says when the deputies caught up to him, Kizzee punched one of them in the face. At that time, they say he dropped some clothing he'd been holding, and they say a handgun fell.
You notice they talking about how he punched him in the face. Oh, well, he punched him in the face. Oh, that's what they told you. We don't know what happened. Show us the body cam footage and show it all of it. Show all of it from start to finish. Don't just show the part where he allegedly hit you. Stop with the bullshit, man.
Out of the bundle, investigators say both deputies opened fire when Kizzee reached for the gun.
He had nothing in his hands at the time that the sheriff shot him. No excuse. Enough is enough is enough.
From our chopper, we could see a gun on the ground next to Kizzee's body yesterday.
Uh-oh. Looks like they planted that shit.
Soon after the deadly confrontation, more than 100 people demonstrated against the use of deadly force, which included a march to the sheriff's South LA station.
And we're tired. We are absolutely tired.
Today, Sheriff Alex Villanueva offered his sympathy to
A white Hispanic. Come on, my Latino brothers and sisters, man. Y'all need to start calling out your people. Y'all want us to call our people out, well, y'all need to call out y'all people. Because you got more of these Latino brothers and sisters or white Hispanics who they want to emulate and replicate the white dominant society. And they classify themselves as white.
Kizzee's family.
First, let me to a deputy-involved shooting, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the family, and that includes a member of my own department who was a cousin of the deceased.
And right now, there is a growing memorial at the site of the shooting. In the meantime, a sheriff's spokesman says that the department is planning to interview the two deputies this week to get more details about the alleged code violation involving the bike that led to the
code violation. Wow.
Deadly confrontation. For now, we are live in South LA. Jeff Nguyen, CBS 2 News.
And thanks so much for that, Jeff. And we have more on this story from a different perspective from Sky 2. Sky 2 is live overhead as they're about to march their way to the South LA Sheriff's Station.
Let's go now to check in with Desmond Shaw in Sky 2 with the latest. Desmond?
Yeah, Jeff and Pat, here we are on 109th Place and Budlong Avenue where the shooting occurred last evening. And you see so far just a couple of dozen people here have gathered, and the plan is to march about.
See, you can march and you can do all that, but that's not going to help nothing. I'm telling you right now. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep shooting you. That's exactly why we need black folk policing black folk. We don't need other races policing us. That's the problem. That's your major problem right there. You got all these other officers that are not from, they don't, first of all, every other racial group has been taught and educated not to like black folk. So why does this surprise everybody when it's every other racial group shooting us? What? Because it doesn't surprise me. They didn't grow around no black folk, and they don't care. And even if they did grow around, they probably can't stand us. So I don't understand why we put our trust and hope and prayer in these people. Talking about we tired of it. Yeah, we more than tired of it. But the shit is not gonna change till we change it. That's the problem. To me, I feel like we're too busy thinking that every other racial group is gonna show us some love eventually. That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. Ever. You may think it's gonna happen, but it's never going to happen. Period. It's never gonna happen. You know why? Because we're not asking for more. No, we too busy allowing people like Kamala Harris to interrupt the versus battle with Brandy and Monica. Why are you even on there? You don't even deal with them. But because it's a political game for you, you want to go on there and try to tell people how important it is to vote. Fuck a vote. What y'all need to do is vote to make sure that there's a law put in place where when a police officer shoots someone in the back or shoots and kills a black foundational American and you kill him, you're doing a mandatory 5 to 10 years. That's what the law needs to be. Then you'll think twice about trying to kill somebody. Then you'll be like, well, let me shoot this motherfucker in the leg or some shit. Let me not shoot this motherfucker to kill him. I guess Jacobblake wasn't enough. This shit ain't gonna stop, man. I was talking to somebody today about it. I was like, man, see, you know, look, I tell you right now, just let me go. I go to Egypt, chill, look at the pyramids, maybe study some Islam, study some Arabic, something, so I can learn some core principles and shit like that. I'm not saying that it's all good out there in Africa, but I know it's got to be a lot better than this shit that's going on over here, this rat race. Nigga, because this ain't nothing but a rat race where a nigga can pull you over for a bicycle infraction. What the fuck is that? I remember a nigga gave me school police gave me a ticket for riding a bike without a helmet. And I was on the school campus. He gonna give me a ticket. And I remember when we went to the court, I'll never forget this shit. And then we went to court. The judge was like, you here for a ticket for riding on a bike? Where was you at? I was like, I was at school. He was like, you was at school? He was like, was it your bike? I was like, it wasn't even my bike. It was one of my teammates' bike. Did he have a helmet? I don't know. And I was like, I don't know if he had a helmet, but it's my teammate's bike. Well, what were you doing on school campus? He was getting ready to go play a basketball tournament. Was your coach there? I'll never forget this. I was like, yeah, both my coaches was there. And he was like, and the school police still gave you a ticket? They just didn't tell you? I was like, yep. And they threw that shit out. And it was a white judge too. And he was just kind of looking like, man, what? I'll never forget that shit. Oh, and the school police was a Hispanic brother too. That's a fact. So motherfucker be trying to talk that shit about this black and brown, man. But let me tell you something. For us to have built the country, it's so funny how we're trained to be the most accepting race on this fucking planet in the country, but everybody else is not accepting of us. And then they get in these little fictitious positions of power and they use and abuse that authority as much as they can. Now, some don't. For the most part. Some don't. Some of my Latino brothers and sisters, they don't be on none of that bullshit. They call out the motherfucking racist motherfuckers that's from their own community. And that's what I need right now. Call these motherfuckers out. You know they be on some racist shit, call their ass out. Because by far, niggas will not treat, for the most part, no Latino brothers that way. Not like that. But they'll do it to us, though. In a heartbeat. I'm not that way. But I'm just telling you what I see. Motherfuckers can take it or they can let it alone. But I'm just telling you what I see. And I'm like, yeah, that's some bogus shit. Like, nigga, what? Yep. And then you had another lady. Then it was another Latino sister who was just calling the police. I'm like, damn. I said, wow. You know what I mean? It's not funny, but you're like, damn, the fuck? But sometimes you gotta look at it like this. What are you gonna do but police your own? But they'll never allow us to police our own. Because if we police our own, that means we'll take pride in inventory of our neighborhoods and they'll develop into communities and not neighborhoods. And then we'll start to practice these Dr. Claude Anderson concepts. You know what I'm saying? Powernomics and all that. Then we'll start putting in, then we won't need. That's why it ain't no Rosewood. That's why it ain't none of that shit. Let me see. Let's see. I want to see what they got to say. Let's see if this one's any different.
at the scene tonight.
This is a live look tonight from Sky 9 above that scene where the shooting happened, where a crowd has been growing for hours after a call to action by BLM LA on Twitter. It says tonight it is still investigating, but they say a fight happened and the suspect had a gun.
That's right. The confrontation happened in South LA along West 109th Street and South Budden.
KCAL9's
You know that they keep talking about, oh, he had a gun. That's why I keep playing this for y'all so you can hear it. You notice that's the narrative. He had a gun. And then you know what the police gonna do? I feared for my life. That's exactly what they gonna do. I feared for my life. But how many videos do you need to see of white people chasing after police officers with machetes, fighting police officers like a motherfucker, and police officers shooting them with a taser or just selling them down and trying to talk them down? But black folks, they just quick to want to kill a motherfucker. This has been going on for 450 years. This ain't nothing new. And look at the narrative and look at the media. That's why we got to take control of the media. We got to do it. That's why they were so mad at Tariq, because he was just like, yeah, white Hispanic. There's like, ain't no such thing as a white Hispanic. I was like, first of all, ain't no such thing as a Hispanic. Hispanic, that's not real. It doesn't exist. Look on the Census Bureau. It does not exist. Hispanic is not a race. Stop. That's first. Second of all, but that's how they identify themselves, as white Hispanics. Motherfuckers don't know that shit. And then Tariq started putting up the motherfucking receipts on their asses, and then motherfuckers was getting crickets and shit. Then they want to call him a race baiter and all this other shit. And it's like, no, he's not. And it's like, that's because people don't want to read no books. They don't want to even take stock and inventory of what's going on. And then if I was a Latino person, I'd be the first person to be like, hey, them motherfuckers don't speak for me. I fuck with black people. That's some bullshit. Because I feel like a lot of the times, my Latino brothers and sisters, they don't want to admit how they have been socialized when it comes to black people. Why is it that motherfucking George Lopez could say it in a joke? He even said it in a joke. Don't do such and don't fucking marry a black man. Now, why is it okay for him to say it in a joke and everybody jokes? But there's truth to jokes. And you better listen to what this man is saying, because I've had plenty of Latino sisters be like, oh, I can't date you. I remember this one Latino sister, she had 2 black kids by 2 different niggas, but had a nerve to tell me that her dad said that she didn't want her. I was like, well, your dad need to tell you to stop fucking first before he start telling you not to be dealing with no niggas. What the fuck kind of shit is that? But, like I said, it's all on how people are socialized. That's how it works. And those type of people, I don't try to educate them, because that's on them, not on me.
Leslie Muddy live tonight in South LA with the very latest. Leslie.
Susie, Jeff, I can tell you that this crowd continues to grow tonight. Behind me, you can see more people mobilizing down here at the area where this shooting took place. We do know, as you said, BLM had tweeted out for people to come down here. I would say anywhere from 150 to 200 people are down in that area as police are currently investigating. LA Sheriff's deputies are also holding the line. As I said, this investigation into this deadly shooting continues tonight.
And they're trying to give all the credit to BLM. Black people was going to be out there tripping no matter what. We was going to be out there protesting and asking for change no matter what. Stop trying to give BLM, Black Lives Matter, all the credit. Stop it. That's another ploy, and that's another trick bag to get motherfuckers to be like, oh, well, Black Lives Matter. No, man, fuck a Black Lives Matter. Fuck all that.
Tonight's cell phone video shows the moments a man is running from LA Sheriff's deputies in South LA. Moments later, a shooting.
They smoked him.
You can hear witnesses yelling out at the sheriff's deputies involved. This woman, who didn't want to be identified, says she knows the man and saw the whole thing.
He had a towel and he had his clothes, and his pants couldn't even stay up, so that's what made him slow down. So they had enough time to, get him. They didn't have to shoot him more than 5 times. They could have shot him 1 time in the leg. He said, what's the use of having a...
Exactly. They could have shot him 1 time. They could have shot him. What did I just say before I played this? They could have shot him 1 time. Why are you shooting him? Because they aim to shoot to kill. And then they going to say they feel for them they life. Watch. I guarantee you, it ain't nothing going to happen to them. And niggas going to protest, march, whine, and repeat. And then they going to kill another nigga. And then they going to kill another nigga. And then it's going to kill another. And then before you know it, it's going to be all these dead niggas in the gravesite at the hands of the dominant society. And then eventually they going to be like, oh, these motherfuckers don't give a fuck. We can just keep killing them. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Prison system, if y'all just going to kill us. Like, what are y'all here for? Who is y'all protecting?
Tonight, LA County Sheriff's investigators say this all started around 3:15 this afternoon near 109th and Budden. That's when deputies say they tried to stop the man who was riding his bike for a vehicle code violation. Investigators say the man then took off running.
Our suspect was holding some items of clothing in his hands, punched one of the officers in the face, and then dropped the items in his hands. The deputies noticed that.
And Lieutenant Dean, who was speaking, is a Caucasian white man who probably can't stand no niggas, who's probably affiliated with some type of anti-black racist organization, whether he's with the KKK or whatever. Look, ain't none of these people that are law enforcement for black folk. Period. Even the black cops, they not finna do shit because that blue wall is too strong for them. Why don't you ask Mohammed Noor, who shot that white Australian woman, and they found that nigga guilty, nigga, gave that nigga 12 years, and they gave that lady's family $20 million. Now, why is it she got $20 million off the rip, but Eric Gardner's family got $5 million? And then Sandra Bland's family got, what, $1 million? 6 black lives got what? They probably got about 10 million out of 6, 7, 8 black lives that got killed at the hands of law enforcement. One black officer shot and killed a white woman, said he was in fear for his life. They found him guilty, put him in the pen for 12 years, and they gave the family $20 million. But you want to tell me there ain't no black racism? Ain't no anti-black racism? Stop.
Inside the clothing items that he dropped was a black semi-automatic handgun, at which time a deputy-involved shooting occurred.
Investigators say they did recover a handgun on the scene. Video from after the shooting shows deputies trying to render aid to the man, who was only described as being in his 30s. Immediately following the shooting, a small crowd gathered around the scene, but quickly grew. Tonight, deputies held the line as about 75 to 100 protesters gathered, demanding justice.
How many more times do we have to gather out here mourning the loss of our brothers and sisters?
And like I said, you can take a look at that crowd, which continues to grow tonight. We know that the DA's office and the Inspector General's office are both out here on scene as this investigation continues. Investigators did tell us 2 deputies fired their weapon, but they could not tell us how many times.
Not one deputy, but both deputies fired their weapon. Ha!
This man was shot. Reporting in South LA, Leslie Marin, KCAL9 News.
Leslie Marine live from the scene tonight. Thank you so much. We will, of course, continue to follow this breaking news and bring you the very latest on CBS 2 News 11 o'clock as we take a live picture here from Sky 9. We understand things may be getting tense between police, the Sheriff's Department there, and Black Lives Matter protesters. Will continue.
Wow. You can't tell me, man. This motherfucker was on a bike running from the police. He had to pull up his pants. They could have tased him right then and there instead of waiting for him to pull. Because they wanted to kill him. They wanted to kill him. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to kill him. I don't know why everybody's starting to think that, oh, well, you know, how many more times? As many times they wanted. Well, why do the police officers kill niggas? Because they can. That's why they kill niggas. Because they fucking can. Period. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. They kill black folk because they can. And then until motherfuckers start reading and understand what the fuck is going on, then guess what? Niggas gonna keep getting killed. I don't care how much you tell a nigga to comply, they can still kill you. They still shoot you. They can do all kinds of shit to you. They can edit the fucking tape. But my question is, where's Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? Where's all you so-called voting ass niggas? Where the fuck are y'all niggas at? Telling a nigga to go do some sucker shit and go vote. Man, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Kamala Harris is too busy interrupting the versus battle between Brandy and Monica because she know they got a heavily influence. You don't think that Kamala and her team done vetted out Brandy and Monica and be like, oh, this is gonna be 1 million followers between the both of them. Let's interrupt their thing and tell them how much you're a fan and all that. That's fake and phony. Kamala Harris lied and said that she was listening to Tupac and Biggie when she was in college. She was in college in the 80s. Tupac first CD didn't come out to the 90s. Biggie didn't come out to 94. So how the fuck was you listening to Biggie and Tupac in the 80s? I said, so when did he have his CD? I think Pac was on Digital Underground, I think. Matter of fact, I don't even think he was on that, if I'm not mistaken. But this was the bitch lied. And nobody checked her on that shit. You know why? Because we too busy smiling and telling niggas to go do some goofy ass sucker shit like go vote. Nigga, go take your dumb ass up there and go vote with no money. No. And while you voting, the Chinamen, the Vietnamese men, the Japanese men, Koreatown, all them motherfuckers is gonna put bread on their head. They not voting. They don't give a fuck about voting for no nigga, no politician. They gonna put the bread out there. Well, this is how much we giving you, and this is what you want us to do. That's why there's a Chinatown. There's every town but black town. Come to Vegas and see how many towns it is. Ain't no fucking town for no black folk. Period. And because we always expecting every other racial group to speak up for us. Niggas ain't finna speak up for you. You just saw two motherfuckers be like, oh, he had a weapon that we recovered. Because, nigga, they gonna use that as an excuse if I was in fear for my life. And that witness, she might as well show her face because it doesn't matter what you... See, people be like, well, I don't want to show my face because I'm with the police. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you say. They're gonna take the police officer's word over. They're gonna take law enforcement's word over. You can sue, go ahead and sue. They're gonna chop you up, give you $100,000 or $200,000, $300,000. And if niggas is desperate and ain't got no money, they gonna take that money and go about their way. So niggas talking about, well, how many times we gotta fight? Well, nigga, look, first of all, stop telling niggas to go vote, do the sucker shit, and be like, you know what, we need to get bread together and put it on these councilman heads. So when we put that bread out there, they can start having these police us in our favor. But we not doing that. You know why? Because you got too many. We expecting black celebrities and LeBron James. You saw what LeBron James and them did. LeBron James like, yeah, we gonna protest. And then the motherfuckers got behind closed doors with the motherfucking white Jewish motherfuckers and was like, well, we're gonna resume the season and keep playing. So all that shit was for nothing. It was for nothing. And we just keep believing in celebrity like, oh, they definitely gonna do something for us. These niggas ain't finna do shit for y'all. Stop it. When we gonna get justice? No, nigga, justice is just us. You better go read Black Labor, White Wealth. Matter of fact, while you about to do some sucker shit and go vote, before you vote, go read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Before y'all niggas go do some sucker goofy shit, go read the book. Just read it for yourself. Read it. Read a couple of chapters and see what your boy Obama put into office and just rolled over the same policies that Bush and Clinton and everybody else had going on. And then when you even try to attempt to ask a black person, all right, so, like right now, okay, this brother just got killed. Well, where's Kamala Harris and Joe Biden? This is national news now. This is everywhere. Of course they're not trying to put it on CNN. Why would they put it on CNN? They don't want that shit on CNN. CNN is basically the Democratic Party's news media outlet. And Fox is the Republican news media outlet. So now you got to go to like the Hurricane Report or FBA Times, Tariq Nasheed's fucking website. You got to go to them because you're not going to get the news from CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And motherfuckers be like, well, that's why we got to get Trump out of here because, because Joe Biden is really, really going to change the way law enforcement does business. And they be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well then if that's the case, Joe Biden was in office when Trayvon Martin got killed, Oscar Grant got killed, Philando Castile got killed. When all these people got killed, Joe Biden was in office. So why didn't he say anything then? Oh, well, because, Obama, he can't just be the president for black people. He got to be the president for all people. This is what black folks will tell you. And I'm like, man, I've never been around a whole bunch of people that'll cape for them and give us excuses because we want to see the imagery of a black person in a fictitious position of power, but we don't want to hold them accountable. But then when a white person get in office, we want to be like, oh, well, they white, so they ain't not supposed to do no for us anyway. Okay, well, we got a black person in there. Why he ain't doing shit? Why he not? And motherfuckers is crickets. And then, elderly people, you can't really tell nothing because they think you're supposed to go do some sucker shit and vote. Okay, fine, then go do that. But me personally, nigga, I'm not doing no sucker shit, period. I didn't vote for the last election when Donald Trump won. I was dying laughing when he won, nigga. That shit was so motherfucking funny. I forgot who even ran against him. Who ran against Donald Trump? Oh, it was Hillary. That bitch didn't even want to come out. That bitch didn't even want to come out when she realized she lost. I was dying laughing. That bitch didn't even want to come out. And everybody was all sad thinking Hillary was going to win. Now you got Kamala Harris interrupting the versus battle with Brandy and Monica thinking that that's going to do some type of trick. And these sucker ass niggas out here. Look, first of all, these are entertainers that sing. Do not take their, they have no idea. Look, your job is to sing. It's like when you go to get your car fixed. When you go to get your car fixed and you need brakes, you're going to a place that specializes in brakes. You're not going somewhere where they change oil for brakes. So when I want to hear singing, when I hear, I want to be down, that's when I'll listen to Brandy. When I want to hear, you make me feel so unreal, that's when I'll ask Monica for advice about that. But when I want someone to talk about politics, I'll go to Dr. Claude Anderson. I'll go to Tariq Nasheed, Zoe Williams. I'm not going to no motherfucking R&B singer. No. See, what you did, what the Democratic Party did, what I didn't like, that was shiesty. They used the momentum of the versus battle. They co-opted it, corrupted it, culturally appropriated it, and used it so motherfuckers go vote and tell motherfuckers that's why you should go vote. Now, they don't know no better, but a person that has been awakened would have been like, nah, we not doing that. But they probably felt like, oh, it's going to get us. Don't be surprised if you don't see a Brandy or Monica or some type of black person on a campaign trail singing like Hillary Clinton had Beyonce out there singing. I'm just looking at her. I was looking at Beyonce like, okay. You know Margaret Sanger is Hillary Clinton's hero, right? Now, you're like, well, what's the big deal about that? Now, if I wanted to run for something, and let's say I wanted to run for office and the majority of the people were white Jewish people, and I told them that Hitler was my hero, do y'all think that the white Jewish community would back any of that or co-sign that? No, they would not co-sign that at all. If I was working for any of them, they would make sure I'm gone, or they'd make me walk back my statements. But everybody has their own hero. But Margaret Sanger was Hillary Clinton's hero. But for some sort of reason, we can't get past that. Go read The Negro Project. That book is so diabolical, the shit she was doing. She was just doing god-awful shit to niggas. And then it just takes me back to medical apartheid and all the bullshit that he was doing to niggas too. John Sims, or what was that doctor's name? Here, let me see. What was that doctor's name? I'm gonna look for that doctor. And he was just a corrupt ass motherfucker. Came up with the first fistula. Shawnee Brown, no, I think it was John Sims. Let's see. John Sims. Let's see. Was it John Sims? Or was it... Let's see. John Sims. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. There we go. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. J. Marion Sims. Yeah. The father of modern gynecology, my ass. I told you, I'm telling you. Yeah, his name. No, it wasn't John Sims. It was James Marion Sims. See, I knew it was a Sims. And he was a racist motherfucker who was doing all kinds of bullshit on black folk. Sims perfected his surgical techniques by operating without anesthesia on enslaved black women. This is what they was doing to black folk. But you want to tell me that the dominant white society give a fuck about niggas? Man, get the fuck out of here. Stop. Oh, what's going on, Tasha, man? Man, don't even trip, man. Don't worry about it. Man, don't even worry about it. I'm surprised that you even got the thing. You know, you probably ain't gonna get the notification. But now, with that being said, niggas was still telling me to go vote for Hillary. Right? And you like, well, what does Hillary have to do with James Sims, the doctor of modern gynecology? Well, he was in medical apartheid. He was doing all kinds of operations. He felt like I shouldn't have to use anesthesia on black women because they're not human and they don't feel pain. That's how he was. Go read Medical Apartheid. Man, that book is insane. It'll have you fucked up. Oh, I'm at the court plantation. Hey, I just got off that motherfucker, man. Y'all, you just don't know. Hey, fam, tuning in from the court plantation. Let's get it. Hey, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. I give y'all props. That's why I always start the podcast off giving y'all props. People always wonder, and even y'all do wonder, like, damn, why you always giving us props? Nigga, I work at the court plantation too. Nigga. Man. And let me tell you something. I can't stand, for the most part, the politics and all the bureaucracy bullshit that go on. That's why I got this from this one dude that worked at, he was from Watts. He worked at the court plantation. He said, Warren, take the money and run. So I've been using that mantra the whole time. Y'all take the money and run. Excuse me, if you want to move up the fictitious corporate ladder, hey man, do your thing. I tell black folk, if that's what y'all want to do your thing. That's what you want to do. But if you know like I know, and not what the Lord has done for me, I'm talking about if you know like I know about the dominant white society and how they dominate 9 areas of activity, you can move up that fictitious Maslow hierarchy of needs, but you're not in charge of anything. And that's what I think we have to understand. We got to take back the power. Group economics. We got to read Powernomics. If you don't read it, just go. I would always suggest, before you even read Black Labor, White Wealth or Powernomics, just go YouTube some old school videos of Dr. Claude Anderson. Just go YouTube some old school so you can kind of get a understanding of who you're reading, or who you're reading about, and what this person is talking about. Because I think once you listen to them and you hear, you're like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Just like when I tell people about reading the ISIS papers, Keys to Color, by the late, great, honorable Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the queen mother of racism, white supremacy. She was dope as fuck. And how she said genetic annihilation and the fear of a black planet, and that's why they would castrate, and that makes sense. That's why they would castrate the black man, because the fear of the power of the black balls, the black testicles, and how we can fuck any other race and they'll come out black. But other races can't fuck us and we don't come out white. Because we have the dominant gene. They possess the recessive gene. See, she breaks it down to it'll fuck you up. The great equalizer, the gun, circular thinking, oh my God, the pool table, the matador, and the black bull. And if you don't believe me, Google the black bull and all the sexual connotations that come up with the black bull. Trust and believe you me, it ain't nothing nice. I tell you this, bitch, let me mention this. You can also go YouTube Dr. Frances Cress Welsing as well. So you can get a just, and her voice is so soothing and she speaks with such confidence. It's almost like the confidence is oozing from her pores when you listen to her speak. Because I've listened to a lot of her speeches, and when she write on the chalkboard and how she break it down, and man, ain't it? The ISIS Papers is a good book, great book. I had one of the homegirls at the court plantation. She did the audio book. And she was like, man, this book is crazy. I said, I told you, man. And then she started asking me like, what got you reading? I was like, look, man, I'm here right with you. And trust me, I had this mentality like, oh, you just got to move up and, then you chasing the money. See, it's like this. That's where black folks get it from. This is just my personal perspective. They dangle the carrot in front of you. And once they dangle the carrot in front of you, now you're hooked because the carrot is money. So what happens is they get you on these court plantations, which you can't be mad at them, and then they dangle that shit in front of you. So then your whole thing is you trying to get the bread. So you feel like, let me do what I got to do to get the bread. Now, some black folks are very intelligent and they know how to take the money and run. And you like, what do you mean Warren, run? You take the money, you stack up enough cheese, and then you try to get your own business going, and then you keep taking that money to fund the shit you really want to do. That's what you do. Take the money and run. You don't just take the money and spend the money. Take the money, spend the money, and then 30 years later, now you gotta be on the job because you didn't do things that were necessary for your mental advancement so you can go do other things and maybe start your own business or, you know, whatever. And a lot of that is because we're not socialized that way. That's why people like, man, why you go, you know, I meet people that's like, man, you should come to my church. And I go hard right in front of them. Like I go hard and they be like, but damn, would you grow up in church? I say, yeah, I grew up in church. And it's no diss. I got love for my black churches, but you're not teaching us shit about anti-black racism. You're not teaching us nothing about the law. You're not teaching us nothing about how to conduct ourselves at these corporate plantations. You're not teaching us nothing about starting your own business. We're only being taught to go to school to get you a good job, to reinsert yourself back into the matrix so you can keep going around that same merry-go-round. I'm not finna front be like, man, ain't nobody teach me shit about starting a business, learning how to flip and doing things so you can work for yourself, how to manage and how to monopolize your intellectual property so you can make money off of it. Shit, nobody taught us that. We just been taught to go to work and, you know, you brag about what type of job you have. Oh, I work at such and such. And it's like, you still a slave no matter where you work at. That's why I was even watching this back and forth between Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God. And I do agree with Joe Budden. Nigga, Dame already said it on that Breakfast Club interview. You're building somebody else's brand. Why would you want to work hard for somebody else? That's why you got to have that balance where you giving 20%, 30% on the job and you giving 70% on shit you really want to do. I don't give a fuck if it's selling a book, flipping clothes, shoes. Hey, that's your own business. That's where you getting some type of stream of revenue. Instead of just, well, let me just go to this job. And then these jobs are so, these corporate plantations are so slick. They just pay you enough just to keep you coming back. They don't pay you enough where you can venture off and do your own thing. And that's true too. And we're not taught that either. We're not taught that at the corporate plantation. You know what we taught at the corporate plantation? Come to work and be thankful you got a job. And you shouldn't expect them to teach you nothing better than that. And you shouldn't expect these black churches to teach you nothing better than that, because a lot of times at the black churches, they're not educated in anti-black racism at all. What's going on with Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God? Well, Joe Budden basically, you know, he's leaving Spotify because they couldn't come to no terms from what I was perceiving in his podcast. Because I'm subscribed to Joe Budden's YouTube channel, so I'm listening and I like a lot of the shit that Joe Budden says. So he was like, I guess Charlamagne the God they were talking about it. Charlamagne was just basically, you know, if I could paraphrase it, he just basically was like, yeah, if you keep getting these raw deals, then maybe it's you need better management and all this other stuff. And I get it, you know, but Joe Budden was like, well, why are you so fascinated with me? You wasn't listening to Dame Dash either, because you on the contract and you building somebody else's brand. You don't even own the shit. So it's like, y'all having two different conversations. I think what every black person needs to take inventory and stock in is how many black folks do we see in entertainment that own their own shit? R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman. You know, but Chadwick Boseman didn't own Black Panther. He didn't own the rights to it. He didn't own the likelihood to it. So Black Panther, they could potentially cast somebody else as the Black Panther. They could potentially not. They could potentially be like, well, we not doing this shit no more. You don't know, because Chadwick Boseman did not own Black Panther. Disney owns it. Since Disney owns Marvel owns that. And that's what we got to understand. If let's just say I work at Jack in the Box and my homie work at Taco Bell, and we both talking shit to each other because I may get paid more than him. Well, nigga, we still working in fast food. We still both slaving. Taco Bell's not easy, and so is In-N-Out. In-N-Out is not an easy job. So it's like, you know, and then too, you have to look at it in this context. That's just two black people competing about which slave master pays them the most for their slave wager. I love when Joe Budden says he doesn't know or vouch for none of the industry niggas. That's facts. Because in my personal opinion, Dame Dash, that ruffled a lot of feathers when he was on the Breakfast Club. And it shook up a lot of niggas' plates and foundations, because I think what he did was wake everybody's eyes up. Like, damn, I think he like Basically, like, y'all niggas need to get the fuck up. You don't even own this shit. And if you really go back and listen to what he's saying, it's the same thing Master P has been saying. Ownership is the key to success. You can do business deals with people, but you have to have ownership. Like I said, hey, we got love for Nick Cannon. We got love for 50 Cent. You doing good things on Stars. But if you don't own that show and you can't take that show from Stars and go somewhere else, it means nothing to me. You're just a high-priced slave who they've created an imagery that you own it when really, nah, you don't own it. They own it. It's kind of like Debo and the bike with in Friday. Well, it's both of ours. It'll just be at my house. No, nigga, that's my bike. And he Debo'd that shit. And that's exactly how it goes. And I think a lot of us, we get caught up on the glitz and the glam and how much money they got and the cars and all that. We like, oh, we want that. But y'all not looking behind the scenes. And a lot of time behind the scenes, they controlling the purse. They controlling the purse strings, not you. And if you don't have no ownership, and that's what I did like about what Joe Budden said. Now, I don't know all the intricate details, but he was basically like, you building somebody else's brand for iHeart. You don't own that shit. The same thing Dame Dash was saying. I think we spend too much time wanting to ridicule other people when really we need to look at our shit. That should make Charlemagne the God take stock and inventory in his shit and be like, well, damn, you know what? I got a lot of deals on the table, but what do I really own? And I'm not talking about no stock in the company and all that. Nigga, you can work at a regular job and own stock. So that doesn't mean anything. I'm talking about ownership where you can get on and say what you want. You can put your kids on and they can say what you want. You can pass it down to your kids. If you can't pass it down to your kids, you don't own it. Period. You don't own it. You're nothing but a supervisor. Just like Dame Dash said. And I think a lot of us, we forget that. That's why when a motherfucker be telling you to suck a goofy shit like go vote, you need to be like, vote for what and for whom and how's that going to benefit black folk? Because if it ain't going to benefit black folks, then why am I vote? And when a person's like, yeah, well, you got to vote because they going to change. How are they going to change it specifically for black people? Argue them down. Question them like a motherfucker. Don't just let them get off with, okay, be like, well, how's it going to change the economical pressures that we go under every day? How's it going to change the economic movement for black folk? Period. How's it going to move it forward? Because our economic template, look at, I think it's Robert Smith. He's under investigation. Now they trying to indict him and send him to prison because he started talking about reparations. So guess what? They did that so ain't no other black person that's a billionaire gonna even mention reparations. See, the dominant white society know how to send a message. It's just we don't know how to respond to it. All we do is go with it. If they tell you, man, put a mask on, even when you at home, I bet there's people at home wearing a mask right now. They not even out in public and they wearing a goddamn mask. Let me tell you, if it's in the air, it's in the air, you're going to get it irregardless. Period. To what they talking about. If you go read medical apartheid, that was infecting mosquitoes and dropping them over tropical parts of the state of the United States of America, infecting other black people with diseases. Go read medical apartheid. They were doing some god-awful shit because they didn't give a fuck. They didn't care. And they still don't. I'm just waiting to see when black folk going to wake up and be like, you know what? Instead of me fighting with this nigga, these niggas are the enemy. Racism is the competition of resources to use those resources to oppress another racial group. We are the racial group that are being oppressed. So with that being said, I don't give a fuck about no Kamala Harris, no Joe Biden, none of that shit. Unless you plan on reversing the 94 crime bill and making up for it and taking accountability for it and doing things like discussing reparations, and I'm talking about in the trillions of dollars, you're never getting my vote. Period. And I can just be that black identity extremist. I don't give a fuck. That's on you. I don't care. Study, read. Because that's what I'm doing. I try to do that as much as possible. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all listening, subscribing. If you came late, you can just go to the beginning. I'll tell you this right now, man. That brother, Dijon, God damn, man. Dijonkizzee, that's fucked up, man. That they shot that brother and killed him over because he riding a bicycle and he created some type of moving violation infraction, some shit that they made up. I'll tell you this, you can know the law all you want. That doesn't negate the fact that they can still kill you with impunity. So don't think, I know the law. I'm an educated nigga. They gonna be like, I don't give a fuck about that shit, nigga. So don't think that for 1 minute. But hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening and subscribing. This is the No I Don't Know TV series. I'm your boy Warren G. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. Hey, man, I appreciate what the fuck it is. Love, live life. Hey, man, don't devote all your time to this core plantation. Enjoy your off time. And use that time to think about shit that you want to do for yourself. Because that's what I be trying to do. Get your vision board. Look at it. I try to look at mine as much as possible. Even when I'm down, I go into that spot in my mind. Because, man, working at a core plantation is very stressful. And it's almost like it'll depress you. Motherfuckers, I give my black folks props, man, for being able to work at a core plantation and not be depressed. Now, that's some real depression where you looking around. And I'm going to tell you this before I get off. When you're looking at a dominant white society person, they moving up the core plantation, just give them a hand clap and say to yourself, they're supposed to be doing that. This system is designed for them. So when they try to tell you, well, all you got to do is this, just be like, yeah, all right. And then when they walk away, just give them that look like, nigga, do you know what system we're in? And for all these motherfuckers that possess white fragility, just get the fuck away from them, because that shit ain't going to change. Hey, man, I'm out. Guilty niggas. Peace.